I knew something was wrong the moment my gynecologist paused. She had her gloved hand on my wrist, not for anything medical, but the way a friend might hold you before telling you something heavy. Her eyes softened behind her glasses. "Are you feeling okay at home?" she asked quietly. I still remember the cold touch of the clinic chair against my back that morning. The room smelled faintly of antiseptic and lavender. The clinic always tried to soften the harshness of its purpose. But even with the soft music playing overhead and the nurses speaking in gentle whispers, something felt heavier than usual. Something was off. I couldn't name it then. Just a quiet pressure in my chest, a feeling that the air was thicker, that the walls were listening. My gynecologist, Dr. Isha, had paused mid-sentence during the routine checkup and looked at me with that careful, assessing expression doctors wear when they know something you don't. Her gloved hands stopped. She tilted her head slightly. "Are you feeling okay at home?" she asked softly, too softly for it to be casual. That was the moment everything shifted, before the tests, before the truth, before the world I trusted cracked straight down the middle. If I had known what that one question would lead to, I might have run out of the clinic and pretended nothing was wrong. But life doesn't pause just because we need time. And trust, once broken, never returns the same. My name is Zara. I am 46 years old, a mother to one daughter, and until recently I believed I had a steady, if imperfect, marriage. Not a love story, not a battlefield, just stable. My husband, Amir, and I had been married for over 20 years. He wasn't expressive. He wasn't affectionate, but he was reliable, or so I thought. He paid the bills on time, brought groceries, asked about my headaches, remembered my birthdays, sometimes late, sometimes early, but he remembered. I told myself comfort was enough, stability was enough, peace was enough. But stability means nothing when it's built on lies. And peace can be manufactured. Every morning I woke up before everyone else. I'd boil water for tea, set out 2 cups even though he hardly ever drank with me anymore, and then check the window blinds out of habit. I liked watching the neighborhood wake up, the milkman's cycle rattling by, children dragging their backpacks, the neighbor's dog barking at shadows. It grounded me. Amir usually left early. He'd click the bedroom door shut with unnecessary care as if afraid to disturb me. At first I found it sweet. Later it felt rehearsed, like he wanted me asleep so I wouldn't see something. He'd changed gradually over the last 2 years. At first it was the small things. He'd hide his phone under the pillow. He stopped taking calls in front of me. He showered immediately after coming home, not an issue by itself, but why so suddenly? He started working late shifts despite being a supervisor with fixed hours. Little things, so little I convinced myself they were nothing. Women do that sometimes. We minimize our own intuition to keep the peace. My daughter, Eamon, noticed before I did. Our conversations had grown mechanical. "How was work?" "Fine." "Do you want tea?" "No." "Did you eat?" "Yes." It was like talking to a wall that responded only out of obligation. Sometimes I'd wake up at 2 or 3 a.m., unable to sleep, and find him sitting in the living room with the lights off, staring at his phone. His face lit by the blue glow, fingers scrolling fast, eyes sharp and focused. Once I asked what he was looking at. He flinched, actually flinched. Then he put his phone face down and said, "Just work." Too quickly, too defensively. After that night, I stopped asking him anything. I used to visit my sister every Sunday. A simple ritual, chai, gossip, laughter. Amir never objected before. But lately, when I'd say, "I'm going to Shazia S," he'd respond with a shrug that somehow felt like disapproval. "Again." That one word carried judgment, annoyance, control. He didn't forbid me. He didn't have to. Women shrink themselves instinctively when they're made to feel inconvenient. So I began staying home more. I cooked his favorite foods. I kept the house organized. I tried to talk to him in small, harmless ways. He drifted farther. I stayed exactly where I had been. Looking back now, the signs were bright as neon lights, but at the time I dressed them in soft excuses. He stopped wearing his wedding ring. He said it scratched his hand at work. He changed his passwords. He said there had been a cyber breach. He started spending weekends outside. He said there were urgent tasks. He bought new shirts without telling me. He said there was a sale. He became unusually kind on random days. He said he wanted to be a better husband. Kindness is sometimes the biggest red flag of all, because it appears like an apology for something you haven't discovered yet. The irony is that my story didn't start with suspicion. It started with fatigue. Plain, heavy, inexplicable fatigue. I thought it was age, or maybe stress. I'd get dizzy spells at odd times, while cutting vegetables, climbing stairs, even folding laundry. My chest felt tight after minimal exertion. And once, while hanging clothes on the balcony, my vision went blurry enough that I had to sit down on the floor. Eamon panicked more than I did. She began insisting that I visit my doctor. I resisted for weeks. "Mama, you're not okay," she repeated one night, kneeling beside me after I nearly fainted. "I'm just tired," I told her. But tiredness should not feel like drowning in your own body. So finally, reluctantly, I made an appointment. I thought it would be a simple checkup. Nothing in my imagination prepared me for what it actually turned into. Dr. Yisha had been my gynecologist for years. She delivered my daughter. She knew my medical history, my anxieties, my silences. That day, I told her about the dizziness, the heaviness, the breathlessness. She listened quietly, nodding at intervals, making notes. When she asked about my marital life, I hesitated. She noticed. Doctors always do. She leaned forward slightly. "Zara, have there been changes at home lately?" "Stress." "Conflict." My throat tightened. Not because she was wrong, but because she was too right. I told her a sanitized version, just enough to answer the question. Not enough to expose the truth I wasn't ready to face. She didn't push. Instead, she pressed her fingertips against my wrist and said, "Let's run a few tests. Nothing alarming, just routine checks." Routine. Such a harmless word. But routine tests can uncover non-routine truths. After the checkup, as I sat up and adjusted my clothes, she handed me a tissue to wipe the gel used during the scan. But she didn't step away. She stood still, watching me with that same unreadable expression. "Zara, I need to ask something," she said quietly. "Please answer honestly." My heart slipped a beat. "What is it? Has your husband been unwell recently? Any medical issues he mentioned? Anything at all?" Her tone was too specific, too targeted. I frowned. "No, not that I know of. Why?" She hesitated. Doctors don't hesitate unless the truth they're balancing is fragile. "It's just a question for now," she said gently. "I'll explain after the results." Explain what? Worry prickled in my stomach like cold needles. But I trusted her, so I nodded. As I left the room, she squeezed my hand, subtle, brief, but filled with meaning. "Take care of yourself today," she said, in a way that sounded like she already knew something I didn't. I drove home slowly, windows half open, letting the afternoon breeze brush my face. But even the wind felt heavy, as if carrying a warning I couldn't read. My mind kept replaying her question. "Has your husband been unwell?" No, he hadn't, not that I had seen. But then again, he had been so distant, so hidden. How much of his life did I really witness anymore? I reached home and found the house silent. Amir wasn't back yet. Eamon was studying. I lay down on the bed and closed my eyes. A chill ran down my spine, and somewhere deep inside me a whisper formed, quiet but persistent. Something is wrong. Something beyond exhaustion. Something beyond marriage troubles. Something that will change everything. I didn't know then how right that whisper was. I didn't know the tests would expose not just a medical truth, but a personal betrayal that would unravel 2 decades of marriage. But the storm was already approaching. I just hadn't seen the clouds yet. The next few days felt strangely stretched, longer than normal, heavier, quieter. I tried to distract myself with chores, but my mind kept circling back to Dr. Aisha's question like a loose thread my fingers couldn't stop pulling. Has your husband been unwell? I replayed it while folding laundry, while cooking dinner, while washing dishes, while watering my plants on the balcony. It echoed behind every routine action like a soft hum I couldn't turn off. Eamon noticed my distraction almost immediately. "Mama, you're spacing out a lot," she said one evening, sitting at the dining table with her textbooks spread out. "Are you thinking about the checkup?" I forced a smile. No, just tired." She didn't believe me. She inherited my intuition, but not my hesitation. Still, she let it go. But I couldn't. 3 days after the clinic visit, something small but significant happened. Amir came home early. It was rare enough to surprise me. He usually returned past 10 p.m., often with the same explanation. Work took longer than expected. But that evening, he walked in at 6. He smelled freshly showered, oddly enough, as if he'd already bathed somewhere else before coming home. "Early today?" I asked lightly. He froze for a split second, barely a fraction of a moment, but just long enough for me to notice. "Yeah, shift timings changed," he mumbled, dropping his keys too quickly onto the table. I nodded, but inside something shifted. Shift timings don't change without prior notice. They don't change overnight. They don't change for someone who's been in the same position for 10 years. He avoided my eyes the whole evening, and I didn't push. Because sometimes silence reveals more than confrontation. That night I woke up thirsty and walked toward the kitchen for water. As I passed the living room, I heard a vibration. Long, insistent, not like the usual short text notification. His phone was on the table, screen glowing. I never touched it, not once in 20 years. I believed in privacy, or maybe I believed in not knowing. But this time, something inside me hesitated, paused, considered. I stepped closer. The name wasn't saved, just a number. But it wasn't the number that startled me, it was the preview. I reached home, showered, missing you already. For a moment, the room tilted. My breath snagged in my chest. I didn't open the message. I didn't touch the phone. I just stood there, staring at the glowing screen until it dimmed again. A numbness flooded through me, not pain yet, just shock, like the body shutting down before the heart can even react. I walked back to the bedroom quietly. Amir slept beside a truth I had never been ready to face. The next morning, I made breakfast mechanically. Paradas, omelet, tea. Amir ate hurriedly, avoiding eye contact as usual. But I watched him differently now, not as a husband, but as a stranger living in my house, hiding an entire world inside his phone. "Amir," I said softly while handing him his tea. "Everything okay?" He flinched, the smallest twitch of his jaw. "Yeah, fine. You're looking tired." He shrugged. "Just work." I waited for him to elaborate. He didn't. He finished his breakfast, stood up, and grabbed his phone. And in that moment, a detail hit me. He didn't leave it charging at home anymore. He carried it everywhere, even into the shower. A man only protects a phone this fiercely when its content can destroy someone. He kissed my forehead before leaving, a rare gesture, maybe out of guilt, maybe out of habit. Either way, it felt like a rehearsed apology for something he wouldn't admit. Eamon sat beside me after he left. "Mama," she said quietly, "why did Abba lie?" My heart dropped. "Lie about what?" She took a deep breath. "I overheard him talking yesterday. He said he was on night shift. But Mama, his company posted on Instagram that the night shift team had their annual dinner yesterday. They were all in the picture. Abba wasn't there." Silence, heavy, dense, unavoidable. I smiled faintly, masking panic. Maybe he was busy elsewhere. Her eyes softened with worry. She reached for my hand, small but firm. "Mama, something is wrong. I can feel it." I squeezed her fingers gently. "I know," I whispered. "I just don't know what yet." but I would soon. Too soon, 2 days later, my phone rang. "Hello, Mrs. Zara." It was the clinic receptionist. "Yes, Dr. Yisha would like to see you. She requested you come in tomorrow morning. She said it's important." The room felt suddenly colder. Important, not urgent, but important. The kind of word doctors use when they want to talk face to face. "Is everything okay?" I asked. There was a pause too long. "She will explain tomorrow," the receptionist replied carefully. When I hung up, my hands were trembling slightly. Eamon looked at me. "Mama, what did they say?" "Just routine follow-up." But my voice cracked in the middle of the sentence. She didn't push, she hugged me quietly. Sometimes children hold you the way you held them, tight, protective, without needing explanations. That night I barely slept. Every sound felt amplified. The ticking clock, the distant hum of traffic, the soft breathing of Eamon from the other room. The shrill buzz of a message on Amir's phone at 1 a.m. I didn't check this time. I didn't need to. Some pains announce themselves before they arrive. Amir slipped into bed an hour later, smelling faintly of deodorant, not the one he used at home. I lay still, eyes open, heart clenched. I wondered, was it me? Was I no longer enough? Was it age? Weight? Routine? Or was it simply that some men choose selfishness even when they have everything? These questions stabbed deeper than the betrayal itself. The next morning, I went back to the clinic. The corridors were unusually quiet. Cold air brushed against my skin as I walked toward her office. My heart thudded with every step. Dr. Isha greeted me with a gentle nod, her face composed but serious. "Zara, please sit," I obeyed. She closed the file in her hands, not dramatically, just with the solemnity of someone preparing to deliver difficult truth. She sat across from me and spoke slowly, choosing each word. "The results show irregularities. Some markers suggest possible exposure to something unexpected." My breath paused. "Exposure to what?" She hesitated, and then asked softly, "Zara, when was the last time you and your husband were intimate?" My stomach dropped through the floor. Intimacy. The word felt foreign. It had been months, maybe longer. I answered truthfully. Her eyes saddened. "Then, Zara, these results are concerning. They imply recent exposure." Exposure. That word rang in my skull like a siren. I stared at her, unblinking. Exposure to what exactly? She took a deep, steadying breath. "To a sexually transmitted infection." The clinic fell silent. No sound, no movement, nothing. Just the echo of one sentence rearranging the narrative of my entire marriage. I didn't cry, I didn't speak, I didn't breathe at first. I just sat there, frozen not from the diagnosis, but from the truth it implied. She leaned closer, voice gentle but firm. "Zara, I need to ask again. Has your husband had any health issues? Has he been involved elsewhere?" Her wording wasn't judgmental, just concerned, but it hit like a blade. My hands went numb, my pulse roared in my ears, my throat closed. I whispered, barely audible, I don't know." She placed a comforting hand over mine. "You deserve honesty, you deserve safety. Whatever the truth is, we will handle it." The last sentence was carefully chosen. Whatever the truth is, she already knew the implication. She just needed me to acknowledge it. But I wasn't ready. Not yet. When I walked out of the clinic, the world looked different. The sky seemed dimmer, the air colder, the street louder. I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel for several minutes. Exposure to an infection meant only one thing: my husband had been intimate with someone else, not months ago, recently. My hands trembled as I tried to start the engine. All the late nights, all the secretive behavior, all the unexplained changes, all the lies. The pieces clicked into place with brutal clarity. And suddenly I wasn't numb anymore. I was angry. Not the loud, explosive anger that burns hot and fast, but a quiet, steady anger, a fire that starts in the bones and spreads slowly, controlled, unstoppable. When I reached home, Amir was sitting on the sofa, scrolling through his phone. He looked up and smiled faintly. "How was your appointment?" I stared at him for a moment too long. He swallowed. I could see it, the flicker of guilt, the slight tightening of his jaw, the nervous shift of his leg. He sensed a change. "Everything okay?" he asked, voice a little too sharp. "Yes," I replied calmly, almost too calmly. I walked past him into the kitchen. He followed me with his eyes. I could feel it. For the first time in years, he looked unsure of himself, unsure of me. And it was only the beginning. Over the next few hours, something inside me changed fundamentally. For 20 years, I had carried the weight of keeping the peace. I swallowed discomfort, overlooked disrespect, forgave quietly, tolerated distance. But betrayal cracks something inside a woman, not her heart, but her tolerance. Every movement of his began to feel suspicious. Every message tone, every out-of-place smile, every overly cautious sentence. And for the first time, I wanted answers, not out of insecurity, but out of dignity. That night, I lay awake again. Except this time, I wasn't afraid. I was preparing. Something new was unfolding inside me, slow, steady, like a seed sprouting in soil long denied sunlight. Resolve, strength, clarity. This wasn't the climax, not even close. This was merely the first shift, the moment denial dies and truth takes root. I didn't confront him yet. I didn't scream. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask questions I wasn't ready to hear answers to. Instead, I watched, listened, observed. Because a woman who suspects betrayal is emotional, but a woman who knows betrayal, she becomes strategic, and I was just beginning. After the clinic visit, everything in my home felt smaller, heavier, quieter. I started noticing things I hadn't paid attention to before. The way Amir's car never returned at predictable times. The extra shopping bags he brought home that had no receipts or explanation. The slight scent of a perfume on his jacket, sweet, floral, not mine. I began observing him silently, like a detective in my own house. The weight of knowing, combined with the uncertainty of the details, made me exhausted, restless, and painfully alert all at once. I didn't tell Eamon yet. She already suspected, I think, but I wanted to protect her from the anxiety that comes with half-knowledge. Women in families often hide the worst truths to shield those they love, but it's a fragile shield. Each evening, I watched Amir from the corner of my eye. His movements were deliberate but not subtle. The small rituals he had before leaving or returning, the hurried glances at his phone, every little detail told a story that I didn't want to confirm but couldn't ignore. I hadn't realized how isolated I had become until I tried to access my own finances. My pension had always been mine. I worked hard, saved diligently, planned carefully. I never had much, but I had enough to feel secure. Until my daughter-in-law, Nadia, offered to help manage it. At first, it felt harmless. She was organized, polite, efficient, but gradually her help became control. I couldn't access my account without her supervision. Every purchase had to be approved. Even the smallest requests were met with sighs, eye rolls, and the occasional sharp remark. "Mom, don't spend recklessly. We know what's best." And soon I realized something terrifying. She was spending my money, not saving it. Her lifestyle had expanded into luxuries funded by my lifelong work, while I sat hungry, pretending that rationing myself was normal. I began skipping meals quietly, eating leftovers when she wasn't around, pretending the pangs of hunger were just fatigue. I didn't cry. I didn't protest. I just survived. Eamon returned home unexpectedly for a weekend. I was relieved but terrified. I hadn't eaten much that day, hoping she wouldn't notice the subtle signs of my starvation. She walked in the door, smiling brightly as always, carrying her bag and shoes. I greeted her warmly, forcing a calm I didn't feel. She set her bag down and immediately noticed something. "Mom, you look tired. Are you eating properly?" she asked gently, touching my hand. I smiled weakly. "I'm fine, darling, really." But she didn't leave it at that. She followed me into the kitchen, observing as I prepared tea. "Mom, this is more than just tiredness," she said softly. "Your hands, your eyes, your posture. Something isn't right." I wanted to brush it off. I wanted to say, "It's nothing, really," but my body betrayed me, the tremor in my fingers, the way I struggled to lift the kettle, the faint bruising along my arms. Eamon didn't need to see receipts, bank statements, or my empty fridge. She could feel it. She knew it. Later that evening, I found Nadia scrolling on her phone, lounging on the sofa, a smug expression on her face. "Mom, you don't need to worry about money," she said without looking up. "We handle everything now." My heart sank. I wanted to scream. I wanted to demand answers. I wanted to break something, but Eamon stepped forward. Her face was calm but resolute. "Where is her money?" she asked, her voice steady, deliberate. Nadia froze. Her eyes flicked toward me, then back to Eamon. It's managed," she stammered. "But she doesn't need it." Eamon's gaze didn't waver. "Mom doesn't need it," she repeated, almost a whisper. "Mom deserves it." Nadia opened her mouth, then closed it. She had no words, not this time. I realized in that moment that my daughter's presence had changed the dynamics entirely. I wasn't alone anymore. Someone saw me, understood me, and refused to let my suffering continue unnoticed. Over the next few days, Eamon quietly began helping me track my finances. We checked bank statements together, comparing withdrawals with my knowledge of expenses. Every dinner out, every shopping spree, every luxury I had never enjoyed, it was there, meticulously logged. I felt a mix of emotions, rage at the betrayal, sadness at the years I had lost, relief that my daughter had noticed, anxiety for what would come next. I was no longer merely a passive observer in my life. I was waking up. While I had been pretending, little signals had been there all along, missing bills hidden in piles of papers, accounts closed without notice. Strange, small purchases I never authorized. Silent dinners where Nadia's laughter seemed sharper than usual and Amir's smiles felt rehearsed. All these signs now aligned like stars forming a constellation. The picture of betrayal was crystal clear. I had ignored them. I had trusted too easily. And now the consequences were laid bare. With Eamon's guidance, I started documenting everything. Screenshots of online banking transactions, copies of bills and receipts, notes of conversations. I was careful, quiet. I did confront Nadia yet. I did confront Amir yet, because when betrayal is exposed, timing matters. Emotions must be controlled. Patience is the most powerful weapon. The turning point came unexpectedly. Eamon had been helping me with some documents, scanning past bank statements when she noticed a pattern. "Mom," she whispered, pointing at several entries. "These withdrawals, they're not just random spending. They're all online orders to the same account. And look, this one is a luxury spa, that one a jewelry site. These are hers, all hers." I froze. The weight of reality settled over me like a thick fog. Years of savings, my pension, all diverted. And for a brief, painful moment, I allowed myself to imagine confrontation. The questions I would ask, the evidence I would lay out, the truth I would demand. But instead of lashing out, I exhaled. I felt a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I understood that this wasn't just a financial betrayal. It was personal, emotional, violated trust, manipulated emotions, silent starvation. I also realized something else. I was not powerless, not anymore. Eamon and I devised a plan, not loud, not impulsive, not vengeful, just precise, deliberate, and undeniable. We would gather every piece of evidence. We would secure my finances. We would document everything in detail. And then we would confront. I felt a strange calm in that moment. A sense of control I hadn't felt in decades. The betrayal had sparked something within me, a strength I thought had faded with years of compromise. I no longer felt fear in my own home. I felt anticipation. Anticipation for justice. Not revenge, not anger, not dramatics, but truth. I started noticing subtle things in Nadia's behavior too. She avoided my gaze. She became tense when I approached the topic of money. Her phone buzzed constantly, yet she checked it less frequently around me. And Amir, he was changing too. The usual calm, distant demeanor gave way to unease. He sensed that I had seen, that I had known. And in every moment, I learned that betrayal leaves subtle, telltale cracks in a person's composure. I didn't need proof yet. I didn't need confrontation yet. The evidence revealed itself in their behavior. By the end of that week, I felt different, stronger, clearer, determined. No longer the quiet, enduring wife. No longer the starving, silenced mother. No longer the pawn in their game. I had discovered the truth. I had acknowledged the betrayal. I had started to reclaim my agency. And just beyond the horizon, I knew the next step was coming. Confrontation. Not explosive, not loud, deliberate, measured, unavoidable. Because once a mother's dignity is challenged, silence becomes impossible. And the reckoning was inevitable. I woke up that morning with a sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. The previous days had been heavy with shock, betrayal, and unspoken anger. But today was different. I wasn't planning to yell. I wasn't planning to accuse. I wasn't even planning to confront Amir or Nadia just yet. Instead, I planned. Strategically. Methodically. I brewed a cup of tea, the steam curling up in lazy tendrils, and sat at the dining table with Eamon. She handed me a notebook, and together we began writing everything down. Every suspicious withdrawal, every hidden expense, every subtle slight or sign of control. It felt almost sacred, like reclaiming fragments of myself that had been stolen over years. We began meticulously, bank statements, every withdrawal from my account that I hadn't authorized. Receipts, small items, large items, everything. Even those I hadn't noticed before. Phone records, patterns in communication that pointed toward deception. Behavioral notes, dates, times, and small inconsistencies in Amir's and Nadia's actions. By the time we finished, the picture was undeniable. I wasn't imagining it. I hadn't misinterpreted it. This was a calculated, ongoing betrayal. And now, armed with clarity, I could act, not impulsively, but strategically. The first step was regaining control over my own finances. I called the bank early in the morning, requesting a full account audit and restrictions on all external access. I had my identification, documents, and even prior statements ready. The bank manager was professional and discreet. "I can set up a restriction where no one can withdraw funds without your authorization," he said. "Even if the account was previously linked to another person," I asked. "Yes, madam, that can be done immediately." Relief washed over me, but it was mixed with anger, rage at how easily control had been taken, but also gratitude that I could regain it. I left the bank quietly, the crisp autumn air filling my lungs. For the first time in months, I felt in control of something in my own life. Eamon became my partner in quiet strategy. We didn't speak of confrontation loudly or publicly. We moved in whispers. Like two detectives preparing a case, we noted every small detail: the times Nadia left the house, the phone calls that Amir answered secretly, the patterns of spending that didn't match the lifestyle we were permitted to enjoy. Eamon's insight was invaluable. She noticed things adults often overlook. The pattern of a message sent at a certain time, a call answered in secrecy, the subtle smirk on Nadia's face when she thought no one was watching. Together, we started building a timeline. A damning timeline of betrayal, control, and manipulation. I learned to move in silence. I cooked meals as usual, hiding my inner storm. I kept the house immaculate, giving no indication of the mental chessboard I was preparing. I smiled at Nadia when she entered a room, masking the knowledge of her transgressions. Every action was calculated to observe, every conversation measured, every silence purposeful. I realized something important. Betrayal can be subtle, but its consequences are enormous. I didn't need to act loudly. I just needed to let the truth emerge at the right moment, undeniable and complete. Amir's unease was subtle but undeniable. He began asking small, pointed questions. Are you feeling okay, Zara? Do you need anything from the bank? Why are you always with Eamon lately? Every question was laced with suspicion, tinged with guilt, though he didn't admit it. And I noticed something else. He started avoiding eye contact, pacing less casually, speaking less freely. The cracks were appearing not because I acted rashly, but because the truth has a way of unbalancing those who try to hide it. Nadia's confidence started to falter. She was used to control, quiet, subtle, manipulative. She had taken over my financial independence gradually, almost invisibly. She thought I wouldn't notice. But now, with Eamon quietly observing and documenting everything, Nadia began slipping. Small mistakes emerged. Payments made in my name were questioned by Eamon. Her phone calls became more secretive, more hurried. She glanced at me more often than before, her posture tightening. I didn't need to say a word. Her own behavior was revealing the betrayal. Sometimes, observation alone is enough to make manipulators falter. Over the next week, I and Eamon refined the plan, documented proof. All statements, receipts, and inconsistencies were compiled in order. Secure financial access, I now controlled the account exclusively. Timing, the confrontation would be at a moment when all parties were present and calm, making denials impossible. Controlled narrative, we would speak clearly, calmly, and without anger. No theatrics, no shouting, only truth. I practiced in the mirror, whispering words of calm authority to myself. This is not about vengeance. This is about dignity. This is about justice. You will speak the truth, and you will not leave this room until it's acknowledged. I repeated it until I could say it without trembling. Preparation was empowering. I noticed the psychological shift inside me. I slept better, knowing I had control over my finances. I spoke more assertively, even in casual conversation. I walked with purpose in my own home, reclaiming spaces I had ceded to others silently over years. Betrayal had awakened a strength I hadn't realized I still possessed. Eamon smiled at me one evening, touching my hand. "Mom, you're glowing," she said softly. I laughed quietly, the first real laugh in weeks. Glowing, yes, but not from happiness. From clarity, from purpose, from quiet strategy. Finally, the day arrived. I prepared a quiet dinner. Nothing extravagant, just a simple meal. But it was prepared deliberately, knowing that both Amir and Nadia would be present. I had the folder with all the evidence at my side, neatly arranged. I didn't flaunt it. I didn't threaten. I just placed it where it could be seen when the conversation began. Eamon was ready beside me, calm and composed. Amir arrived home slightly earlier than usual. Nadia followed, wearing her usual air of control, but this time I noticed subtle tension. She sensed something. She didn't know what. I sat at the table, straight-backed, calm. The light from the chandelier fell softly on the folder of truth. No words had been exchanged yet, no accusations thrown. But the storm was approaching, slowly, quietly, inevitably. I sipped tea calmly. Eamon placed her hand on mine. The folder remained between us, a quiet testament to years of control and betrayal. Amir glanced at it. Nadia's lips pressed tightly together. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The room itself felt charged with tension, the kind that grows heavier with silence, making hearts pound in quiet fear. And in that silence, I felt the final shift. I was no longer a passive victim. I was no longer invisible. I was ready to speak the truth. And truth, once spoken, cannot be hidden again. The dining room was quiet, except for the soft clinking of silverware as I placed the final dish on the table. I inhaled slowly, letting the air fill my lungs, and exhaled, steadying the resolve I had nurtured over weeks. Eamon sat beside me composed, her hand resting lightly on mine, a subtle anchor of support. Amir and Nadia entered, the familiar tension of their facade already cracking. Nadia smiled, a forced, calculated smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Amir's usual calm demeanor flickered under the weight of anticipation. The folder sat between us. Nothing flashy, nothing dramatic. Just the quiet evidence of years of manipulation and betrayal. I looked at Amir first, not angrily, not accusingly, just firmly. "Amir," I said softly, deliberately. "Do you know what this is?" He glanced at the folder and swallowed. "Yes, I think I understand," he muttered, voice tight. I nodded, my expression unchanged. "I've always trusted you," I continued, voice calm, measured. "I've been patient, I've forgiven silently, and I've let things slide because I believed in us." Eamon squeezed my hand, silently encouraging me. I took a breath and looked at Nadia. "And you," I said, softer but no less firm, "have taken that trust and used it to control me. You've spent money that belonged to me, starved me quietly, and assumed I wouldn't notice." Her lips parted slightly. Her eyes darted to Amir. She searched for an ally, but there was none to be found. I opened the folder slowly. The weight of it felt almost ceremonial. "Here," I said, pointing to the first page. "These are withdrawals you made without my consent." The second page, receipts from luxury purchases. The third page, patterns that prove manipulation and deceit. Nadia's hands trembled slightly. Amir's jaw tightened. I didn't shout. I didn't demand apologies. I let the evidence speak for itself. And it did. The room felt heavier with each passing second. The truth was undeniable. The betrayal was undeniable. Even without words, the silent acknowledgement of guilt spread across both their faces. I paused, letting the moment settle. The quiet was almost deafening. Amir tried to speak, his voice hesitant, strained. "Zara, I held up a hand. "No," I said calmly. "Not yet. You need to understand the weight of what's been done, not just to me, but to Eamon as well, to this family, to trust itself." Nadia opened her mouth, but no sound came. She realized, finally, that there was no manipulation left to hide behind. The quiet composure of mother and daughter left her exposed. I let the moment linger, letting them feel the full weight of accountability. Because accountability is rarely comfortable and often the first step toward true reflection. After a long silence, Amir spoke, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't realize I was wrong. I never wanted to hurt you." I didn't respond immediately. I let his words hang, measured, deliberate, absorbing their truth and their insufficiency. Eamon added softly, "Mom deserves respect. You took what wasn't yours. You need to understand that." Nadia finally lowered her gaze. I'm sorry," she whispered, barely audible. Not dramatic, not loud, just words acknowledging wrongs. It was a start, not forgiveness, not absolution, but recognition. The next days were calm, quiet, and purposeful. I regained full access to my finances. No one could touch my money without my explicit consent. Every transaction, every withdrawal, every plan for future expenses was mine to authorize. I felt lighter, freer. Like I had reclaimed pieces of my identity that had been quietly eroded over years. Eamon and I continued documenting every interaction, not to punish, but to protect ourselves. To ensure that dignity, once taken for granted, would never again be silently stripped away. The truth changed everything. Amir was quieter, more reflective, sometimes avoiding unnecessary confrontations. Nadia became more subdued, careful, and perhaps, in her own way, remorseful. Our household dynamic shifted, not perfectly, not without tension, but with new boundaries. I no longer felt invisible. I no longer tolerated silent manipulation. I spoke when I needed to, and I acted when action was required. Most importantly, I discovered something profound. Betrayal cannot diminish a person who recognizes their own worth. Over the following weeks, I reflected on what had happened. Trust is precious, but awareness is necessary. Silence may protect for a while, but truth always finds a way to surface. Dignity is something no one else can take unless we allow it. Strength is quiet, patient, and deliberate, not loud or impulsive. I had learned that confrontation doesn't always require anger. Sometimes it requires clarity. Sometimes it requires patience. Sometimes it requires letting truth speak louder than your voice ever could. And I had learned that, no matter how deep betrayal runs, a mother's strength, supported by love, observation, and strategic patience, cannot be erased. I sat one evening with Eamon, sipping tea, watching the sunset through the window. "It's over, Mama," she said softly. "I know," I whispered. "Not just over, but understood, learned, controlled." There was quiet relief in the air, not celebration, not triumph, just calm acknowledgement that the storm had passed and a new order had taken its place. We didn't need to speak about Amir or Nadia's reactions. We didn't need to relive the past. The peace came in small moments, drinking tea without tension, laughing softly at a joke, walking through the house and feeling like it belonged to us again. The quiet dignity of reclaiming one's life is a deeper reward than any confrontation or revenge could ever provide. I understood finally, betrayal reveals character, not just of the betrayer, but of the betrayed. I had been patient, cautious, and observant. I had allowed love and trust to guide me, even when deceit threatened to erode both. And in that patient vigilance, I discovered power. Not the kind of power that dominates others, but the kind that preserves self-respect, protects loved ones, and ensures that silence is never mistaken for weakness. I had not only survived betrayal, I had reclaimed my life. Truth will always surface. Dignity cannot be quietly stolen. And sometimes the most powerful acts are quiet, deliberate, and steady. I am stronger now. I am wiser. And I am finally at peace. The lesson is simple but profound. Never underestimate the power of patience, observation, and the quiet courage to reclaim what is rightfully yours. Even when the world feels heavy with deception, the light of clarity will find a way to shine through. If you've felt betrayal, or if you've ever been silenced in your own home, remember, strength can be quiet and justice can be calm. Like, comment, and subscribe for more emotional, real-life stories that remind us of the power of dignity and patience.